How's it going, guys? It's British Snake HD here, and I'm back. I haven't been on my channel in quite a while, but I just want to do a quick 4K Blu-ray collection, because when I did my last collection, I didn't have any 4K Blu-rays, and suddenly I have started to buy them. I have a 4K TV, so I'm fully able to utilize the format. And yeah, we're just going to go straight into it. I've got them mostly laid out in alphabetical order. Some are a little bit out of order. Because of things like, if they're part of a certain franchise or something like that. But yeah, we'll just go straight into it, starting off with my DC Cinematic Universe films, or DC Extended Universe, I think that it's called. First off, we have Man of Steel. In terms of the 4K transfer, it's really not that much better. It's a little bit better, but not drastic. The film itself, I enjoy. It's a good film. Probably one of the, I've got to be honest, controversial opinion, it's probably the weakest, in my opinion, of the DC films. I do prefer the other two better than this one, my opinion, but I know a lot of people will disagree. Next up we have Batman v Superman. Bit of an overrated transfer, in my opinion. The film I like, could have been better. The Ultimate Edition is definitely much better, but yeah, the transfer, I'm not too keen. I know some people really think this transfer is amazing, but I disagree. But still, fun film. I do enjoy it. Suicide Squad, not the best transfer either. We're starting off with some rough transfers, definitely. If you're new to 4K, don't get worried. I think so far the DC films have been quite weak with the transfer. Film I enjoy, could have been better, but still, I enjoy it. Yeah, so there you go. Da Vinci Code. I like this film. I thought it looked quite good in 4K. I think the HDR worked really well. It made the dark scenes quite a lot darker. Obviously, it's quite a dark film. So I thought the 4K was really well. Can't speak for the sharpness, but the HDR I thought worked really well. We have Angels and Demons. Really like this one as well. I think I prefer Da Vinci Code, but the transfer is probably a little bit better on this one. Inferno, I think this is the second best of the two, but in terms of the transfer, I think it is by far the best. This is a really great transfer. And I like the movie as well. I think the movies are really underrated. I do really enjoy these films. But Da Vinci Code is my favourite film overall. But this one wins. It was the best transfer and is my second favourite of the franchise. Next up, we've got Argo. This is also a really good transfer and a really good film. If you haven't got this in your 4K collection, I highly recommend it. Firstly, it's a great film, but also a really good transfer. I think Ben Affleck is a phenomenal director, and he doesn't get much credit from some people because a lot of people like to hate Ben Affleck, but I really like Ben Affleck. But there you go. Assassin's Creed, great transfer, horrible movie. This movie was awful. I nearly went to see this at cinema with my friend, but literally, just as we were going to see it, it was like they stopped having it on. And we just missed it by like a day. But I'm kind of glad, because I would have been annoyed if I went and paid £10 for a ticket, and then because I would have bought I'm sure I would have bought the 4K regardless, because I love the games. But the transfer was great. The movie was awful. Billy Lynn's Long Half-Time Walk. Just finished watching this yesterday. This is my newest 4K, and gotta say, I wasn't keen on the movie. It wasn't bad, it wasn't great, but the reason I bought this was, as you can see at the bottom, the 60 frames per second. I really wanted to see what it looked like. I was very intrigued. I wasn't sure I was going to like it or not, and I can say from watching it, I'm not too keen on 60 frames per second for a movie. It felt a bit cheap. It didn't look right. Maybe it is because I'm just, we're all used to 24 frames in a film, but it didn't work for me. I think that some of the scenes it worked were like some of the action sequences in the film, but this isn't an action film. This is obviously a drama film, so I don't think it worked, but I can see it working in an action film, but I would need to see an action film try 60 frames to really see how I feel about, 60 frames, because I want to see an action film do it, see what I think then. This is more of a drama, but during the action scenes, I thought the frame rate worked quite well. In terms of the resolution, it looked good. I don't think the HDR did anything, but it looked a lot sharper, but it's really the 60 frames per second you want for this. And that's the biggest, obviously, by far the biggest difference between the standard Blu-ray and the 4K. Next up, we have a film that I'm really surprised because I didn't expect to like this. I sort of got this in a box set with a bunch of others, and it just sort of came with it. And I thought I wouldn't like it because everyone seems to hate this film, but I really enjoyed it. And that's Exodus: Gods and Kings. Really enjoyed this film, actually. Kind of surprised. I know a lot of people might hate this film, and they're probably going to hate me for liking it, but I really did. I was actually going to sell this because I got the box set quite cheap. I think it came with 6 movies. It was the like starter collection. I sold one of the movies because I didn't like the film, and I was gonna sell this because I was expecting not to like it, and I watched it and I really liked it, and ended up going, well, I'm not selling that one. I'm keeping it. So I ended up keeping it because I liked it and I didn't feel the need to sell it. So I enjoyed it. There you go. Sorry if that offends you. We now have my first 4K film, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I grew up with Harry Potter. I went to see the first film in the cinema when I was like 4 years old. I love, love, love these films. This isn't as good as Harry Potter, but it's still really great. I love this film, and the transfers are also really good. Ghostbusters. I hadn't seen these films until about 2 weeks ago. I know, I'm sorry, I'm ashamed, but I really like these films. I like this one, and I like the next one. But transfer was okay, but I wanted the film, and I finally got to see it, and it's really good. Ghostbusters 2, underrated. I really like this one. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I really like this, and the transfer is really good on this one, much better than the first one. I don't have the modern Ghostbusters, the 2016 Ghostbusters. I did have it on 4K. I sort of bought it by accident, thinking it was the first one. The eBay seller accidentally put a wrong picture up, but they did give me a discount because of it, and I ended up selling the film because I didn't like the film, and I actually made a profit on selling the film. So because I got sold it that cheap, so I wasn't really feeling burnt by the eBay seller. I just watched the film and ended up making money because I didn't like the film and I wanted to sell it. So I don't have the modern Ghostbusters. Next up we have Goodfellas. I think the HDR works quite well in this film. Obviously the film itself is great. It's Goodfellas. It's a classic. You probably know about this film. But the HDR I thought worked really well. The actual 4K, not so sure, but the HDR of the dark scenes work really well with some of the bright highlights, like in that scene where they got the body in the car. That scene worked really well with the HDR. But other than that, you may not need this on 4K. Your standard Blu-ray might do. I wouldn't say you need to upgrade. I have compared the two by looking at the Blu-ray and the 4K because I was interested to see the difference. It really seems to be more of a HDR thing, not the actual resolution. But good film, may not need the transfer. Next up we have, I'm going to have to say my favourite film of last year. It is Axial Ridge. I loved this film. I really loved it. The transfer is also great, but this is a must in your 4K collection because it looks great on 4K and it is a great, great film. By far my favourite film of last year. Also loved Rogue One. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I love Rogue One, but this one topped it for me. If you're interested in what my third film was, it was Arrival. I love that film as well. We have Independence Day. This is another one that came with that box set I told you about. I hadn't seen this film until I watched it on 4K, but I basically got it with a few other films. It was cheaper because there were 3 films in the set I wanted, and the set costed me the equivalent of 3 films. So I basically got 3 films for free, sold one of them, and basically got 2 films, and those were Exodus and this one. And this one I didn't care about, but I ended up liking the film. I do enjoy it. Do I intend to get the newer one? Maybe. I'm not sure. I heard it's terrible, so I don't really know if I need to have it. But this film is really good. So there you go. We have Kingsman. This is one that came in that box set that I wanted. Loved this film. Saw it in the cinema with my friend. It was sort of a random... When we went and saw this film, we just sort of went and saw it. We didn't really intend to... we didn't really look forward to watching it. We weren't like, oh my god, I can't wait to see this film. We just sort of like, hey, do you want to go and see this film? We wanted to meet up, so we went and saw this film. And it was amazing, and now everyone loves this franchise. And I do as well. And just great film. Needed it on 4K. And it looks good. It looks a lot sharper. The HDR doesn't do anything, but the 4K looks great. Okay, next up we have La La Land, the very, very nearly Best Picture winner. I like this film as well. This is a good film. Not my type of film, but I still enjoyed it, which I think does show how good a film it is. I'm not into musicals at all. This could be is it the only musical in my collection? I think it is. So I don't like musicals, but I did enjoy this film. I don't like romances, I don't like musicals. This is a romance and a musical, but I still liked it. Who'd have thought? Next up, we have Lego Batman the movie, or the Lego Batman movie. I haven't seen the original Lego movie, but I like Batman, so I thought, why not? I'm interested in seeing it. Transfer looked okay. I'm sure it's not amazing because it's an animated film, and animated films right now don't seem to look that good in 4K. A lot of them seem to be mastered in 2K and then just upscaled, so I don't know. I'm not sure about the HDR either. I didn't really notice any big difference, but hey, that's just me. Next up we have Life of Pi. This is like the ultimate HDR film for 4K Blu-ray, and the film is great as well. I'm not a big fan of Ang Lee, although I have Billy Lynn's and this one, because I feel that maybe his films are a bit gimmicky. Maybe people will be angry at me for saying that, but I've always felt that his films are a bit gimmicky, but I really do like this one. Not so sure about his other films, but this one I do really like. And I should say I haven't seen all his films, but the ones I've seen I felt were gimmicky. You know, I just didn't like the way he directed some of them. Next up we have Logan. This is a great film. It comes with the noir version. I have to watch the noir version. I really love black and white. Is one thing that I really must say. I really do love black and white films, so I really need to see the noir version. But I obviously like to watch the original version before I go on to any different. Like whenever I get a film and there's the extended version and I haven't seen the film, I like to watch the theatrical version first. That's the kind of person I am. But next time I watch this film, I'm going to watch it in the noir version, see how that is. But the film is great and it looks great on 4K. Next up we have Lone Survivor. This looks great on 4K and is a great film. I highly recommend it. Just such a great film. I need to see Patriots Day still. That's one I really need to get. That's on my list of films to buy. So there you go. Great film. Lucy seems to be quite a polarizing film. The transfer is universally praised. It looks amazing. It's one of the best 4K Blu-rays. The film itself, I loved it. I've got to say, I loved it. Really did love this film. It's quite a polarizing film. I'm not sure, is it based on a book or not? I'm not sure. I don't think it is, but I enjoyed the film. But it is a polarizing film, so you may disagree with my opinion. The Magnificent Seven, I like this film. I wanted to see, I felt like watching a Western, and this was the only one, other than, no, Unforgiven's on 4K as well now. But yeah, this was the only other Western film on 4K, and I wanted to watch it, so I thought I'd pick it up. Haven't seen the original though, haven't seen the original film, just the remake. Pan, I love the story of Peter Pan. It's my favourite childhood story, and I really wanted to watch this, even though I wasn't so keen on the look of it. Like, when it was being advertised before it came out, people were like, oh, it looks great, and I was like, I'm not so sure. I didn't like the look of it, and I watched it, and it's okay, but it's probably the weakest Peter Pan film. You can't beat Hook, in my opinion. Hook is just, for me, it's the best and probably the most nostalgic Peter Pan film. Robin Williams as an older Peter Pan is just great. I don't know why I said Peter Parker. I've got Spider-Man on my mind. And next up we have Passengers. This looks great on 4K. This, in my opinion, is the best looking 4K disc. Maybe it's because, you know, it was the first one that really wowed me. This is like, I had a bunch before when I got my 4K player. So this is one of the ones I watched with it. And this is the first one that really wowed me. I'm sure that there are some that are better, but this is the one that really did wow me. So maybe it's just because it was the first time I was impressed. But the movie itself is really good. So yeah, good movie and a good transfer, so I recommend it. I've got to just adjust, my legs are hurting. Ooh. I've been at work walking around all day, so my legs are kind of dying. Okay, next up we have Pineapple Express. This is a good film as well. I really like it. Not so sure about the transfer. But the film itself, I really like. So, there you go. It was another one of those ones I got in the first batch before I got my player, so I had enough to warrant the purchase. Next up we have The Revenant, another one I got in that box set, and I wanted this one. I had the Blu-ray, but I wanted to upgrade. It's a great film, and it looks great in 4K, so pick it up. I'm sure a lot of people know of this film, and if you've got a 4K player, you probably have this film. Sully, I really like this film. You may have noticed I've got a few Tom Hanks films in my collection, and I really love Tom Hanks. He's one of my favourite actors, probably my second or third favourite. My favourite is Liam Neeson, but Tom Hanks is definitely in my top 3, probably my second favourite actor. And this film is great. I really love this film. Great direction from Clint Eastwood. Just a really great film. I highly recommend it. The transfer is great. The movie itself is great. Just go and watch it. It's just a phenomenal film. And my final 4K Blu-ray is the other Ben Affleck film that's on 4K, The Town. Really like this film. Not quite as good as Argo, and I've got to be honest, I liked Live by Night more than this one, even though I know people don't like that one. I haven't seen Gone Baby Gone. I haven't seen that one yet, but it's still a good film. I mean, Ben Affleck is a phenomenal director in my opinion. I know a lot of people will agree. So, great film regardless, but I think it's probably the weakest of the 3 I've seen. But there are only 3 films, and I like all 3 of them, so still a good film. Transfer is okay, nothing to scream about, but good film, so there you go. And that is it for my 4K Blu-ray collection. I've got a pile of them here. There you go. I've been collecting for about a few months now, but that is it. So I will not do another. I probably won't be doing another 4K collection. I'll probably be waiting until my standard collection months from now, like next year, if I do it. But if this video does well and people want me to, I will perhaps start doing some pickup videos. I do pick up a lot of movies, so if you want me to do that, I will be more than happy to do that sort of thing. Just let me know in the comment section, and I will see you all in my next video, whenever that may be. So I will see you all then.